Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. We're just going to wait another minute or so while a few more people join, and then we'll get started. So just bear with us for a couple of more moments, please. Okay, everyone, thank you for joining us. We are here today to talk about our data extraction with Lightyear. We're just going to do a little run through of some recent updates that we've had and some updates that we're going to have as well. And before we start, Ashley is just going to do a little housekeeping announcement as well. So if you want to just go ahead there, Ashley.
Hi everybody, welcome to the session this morning. So just to run through some housekeeping before Gavin takes you through our data extraction stuff. On the left hand side you will see some tabs, and there's a questions tab. So if you click into here, Gavin, there's a question and that says you're muted, but I'm not sure if everybody can hear that or not. If you can't hear anything, please put into the chat, and I will see if I can fix anything for you guys. But yes, in the questions tab, this is where you're going to put all your questions for Gavin and Brian. So Brian will be in the background answering any questions that you have via text. And then if Brian doesn't get through all of them, we will pick them up at the end of the session, and Gavin will run through as many of these questions as we possibly can. There is a polls, 3 different polls going out during the session. Gavin will activate these throughout the session. It should pop up on your screen, so just keep an eye out for them. You can answer them. They're not mandatory, but feel free to give us some feedback. If you have any general comments to make, you can leave that in the chats function. If you're having any technical issues, you can also leave that in there, and I'll try my best to fix that for you. We do also have a recording of this that will be sent out to all registrants at the end of the session, so feel free to share that with colleagues if they weren't able to attend, or anyone else in your business that you might find this useful. I think we have 2 more of these sessions, so if you find that you want some more information, you want to join another live session, we have 2 more in December. So there's one on the 4th of December and one on the 8th of December, and Gavin will also be running these sessions, so feel free to join those. Whenever I'm sending out the recording, I will send a link that you can register for these. You should have got an email about it this morning as well, so if you want to check your emails and see if you can access that link as well. Gavin, I'll hand back over to you.
Thank you very much, Ashley. I just want to double check, obviously, because there was a comment there about not being able to hear me. Is everyone having that same experience, or to make sure before we begin that people can actually hear?
Can I just check if it's only Gavin that you can't hear? Can you hear me? Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay, people can hear now, yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Seems to be okay.
If you are having any issues, I think we've found before that sometimes leaving and re-entering can help. So if you are still someone that's having issues, just go ahead and try that. We'll let you back in. And if not, we can send you the recording afterwards. Just to begin then, we'll just start off with our first poll. So just a really simple one. Again, guys, these just help us really much, a lot of feedback. So just go ahead and answer this question for us, please. Which extraction type do you use the most? And we will go over these extraction types as well. So if you're not sure exactly what they mean, we'll be doing a little recap on these too. Great to see so many people answering as well. Thank you, everyone. Okay, great. It looks like Most people are getting full line information from Lightyear as well, but pretty healthy spread. People enjoying service and summary as well. That's great. Thank you very much. Okay, I'm going to just go to the next slide here, where we'll just go over the agenda for today. So we're going to really talk about some basic things here today, guys, and then we'll get into more detailed stuff around which extraction method you should be using. So first of all, I'm going to just talk about really simply, how do you get your documents into Lightyear? There are a couple of different methods. Maybe you're not aware of them, maybe you are. Next up, I'm going to just show you guys a little brief rundown of the processing tab. I'm sure you guys are using it daily, but maybe there's a couple of things that you've missed that we can help bring to light there. And then I'm going to talk about the different types of data that we can get for you, followed up by how we actually get that data and what's best for you. So that'll be the data extraction mapping versus smart extract. After that, we'll show you how to set your supplier extraction rules. Sometimes you might have different rules that are more beneficial for different suppliers. And then to finish off, we're going to give a little sneak peek into our next coming Smart Extract Plus development, and we'll finish off with a Q&A session as well. So I'm actually just going to go into the product now and show you guys a little test processing tab that I have set up. So just bear with me 1 second. Okay, so hopefully you can all see my screen. To start off with, we're going to just talk about how do we get our documents into Lightyear. We've got a couple of methods, and again, I'm sure you guys are mostly all aware of this already, but we'll just recap anyway. The primary method for getting your documents into Lightyear is your @lightyear.cloud email address. So if you're in Lightyear right now, you can see that up in the top left-hand corner of your Lightyear screen. This is the email address that you want to use if you have any documents that you want to email into your system. Simply send them to that, and as long as they are a file type that we accept into Lightyear, they should appear then in your account. And the file types that we accept are PDFs and image files as well. We don't currently accept Word docs or Excel docs or things like that. That's also really handy as well if you want to share that email address with your suppliers. Some people are happy enough to upload invoices themselves, but to make things a little bit easier for yourself, you can remove that step from the process, share that email address with your supplier, and they can just get the documents straight in there for you. We also have a couple of different upload buttons around the app. So if you want to just upload documents directly from your desktop, you can do that. In the processing tab, you will see an upload button right here. And you'll also see this upload button up in your top navigation bar, and you should be able to access that button from any panel at all in the app. And I'll just do a little demonstration of how that works, because there is a couple of different things you can do when you're uploading from the desktop. So I'll just select one of my files. And then before I upload it here, I can do a couple of different things. At this point, I can already say whether or not I want the document to be smart extracted or not, just by ticking that. And then I can also tell the system what type of document I'm sending in. That might have implications. For example, if you're uploading a purchase order, it goes through a slightly different method to our invoices. So you might want to select that when you're uploading. As well, if you are going to use smart extract, you can tell the system at this point whether or not you want the document to be uploaded with line level extraction, service, and summary. Don't worry, if you do select that now, you can always change it in the app as well once you've uploaded it. And then you would just click the upload button. Now, depending on whether or not you already have the supplier for that document set up in Lightyear, that's going to depend where that document lands whenever you upload it. So if you upload a document that you already have either selected a map for, or you have chosen Smart Extract for, the it will go straight into your approvals tab. You won't need to even look at it in processing. It'll just go straight in here. And if that's not the case, if it's a first-time supplier or a supplier that you haven't confirmed the extraction type that you want to use, it will land in your processing tab. So the processing tab is kind of like your inbox for Lightyear. Any documents here that you haven't processed yet or you haven't applied an extraction method are going to end up here. Just to quickly recap here, as I'm sure you're familiar with, in Lightyear, we have like a 3-panel system. So panel 1 here is kind of like your email inbox. You can go down and you can look at all the attachments that you've been sending into Lightyear. If you've sent an email in that has more than one file, you'll be able to see that with the quantity here. And you can just select and go through all of the different documents that you've uploaded. Panel 2 is going to show you a couple of different things. It's either going to show you the data that we're extracting from the document, or alternatively, it's going to list some actions that you might want to take. And those actions are going to be either searching for one of our existing maps to see if we already have one that works for your supplier. You might want to just request a new map, or alternatively, you can click Smart Extract here to just see your data instantly. We also have panel 3 over here on the right, which is just a visual of the actual invoice that you've uploaded. So the main question here in the processing tab is going to be, how do I get the data from my documents? We've got one other method that I didn't really mention. Hopefully this is a last resort, but we also do have the ability to manually key in your data. So if for some reason you can't get the right result with Smart Extract or Maps, you can go ahead and key your data in there. But ideally, we're going to be able to get that data for you without you having to do that. So Smart Extract or Maps is the main question here. What should I be using? And ideally, the answer to that question is going to be both. You should be able to effectively use both in Lightyear. Some of your suppliers are going to mesh well with one extraction method, some of the other. It depends what exactly you want from the invoice and how your supplier is presenting that data to us. I'm going to go into that in a little more depth and show you some examples where one might work above the other. But before I do that, I want to talk a little bit about the different types of data extraction that we can provide in Lightyear. So we've mentioned those briefly already, but very quickly, those the amount of detail we can offer you is 3 different kinds. We've got line items, like product lines, service lines, or summary. Summary is the most simple. So summary data, we will give you all of the header data that we can, so the bill number, the bill date, due date, PO number, etc. And then we'll just give you a brief summary of your data. So it's going to be 1 line or 2 if you have a couple of different tax rates on it. And that's it, just a generic description, the amount that you're paying and the tax that you're having to pay. The next level up from that is service lines. So we will give you the description of the line, and then we'll give you the amount related to each one of those lines. And then the third and final, the most data that we can give you is product line information. So this is going to be really handy if you're in hospitality, for example, and you're dealing with a lot of products that you're ordering. So you'll see here that we're giving you the product code, the description, the quantity, and we're also giving you the unit price breakdown as well. And on top of that, the same information that we're giving you on those others. Each one of those data extraction types should be available to you with both Smart Extract and Maps. So don't think that there's any limitation there towards what you can do. You should still be using Smart Extract if you want lines. You just have to select which one you actually want. So talking about mapping versus Smart Extract, they both have advantages, and sometimes they both have restrictions as well. You will really get the most out of Lightyear if you can effectively use them both together. Again, some of your suppliers are going to be better suited to Smart Extract. Some may suit Maps better, but again, it can also depend on the amount of detail that you're actually requiring from that supplier as well. I'm going to start with mapping here because mapping was Lightyear's primary extraction method right since the beginning. So just very briefly, a map is essentially a template that we create based on an invoice that you provide us. And we take that first invoice, we note key pieces of data on that document, and then the next time it comes into our system, we use that first document to extract the details from further documents. So as long as the format doesn't change or the supplier doesn't add any new piece of information that wasn't there in the original, we should have a stable working map there that works for you going forward. If you have any like specific needs that might not be obvious, then currently a map might be best. For example, maybe you want a different piece of information extracted for the PO number. Maybe you've got an order number and you've got a reference number on the document. We might ordinarily pick up the order number, but potentially for your business, you need the reference number. So at the moment, if you need something bespoke like that, a map might be best for you. Smart Extract is slightly different. So rather than creating a template of a document, we're using AI to read the document that you send in and then provide what we think is the best information available to you on that document. In this example I'm looking at the moment, we are using Smart Extract. When we're using Smart Extract, you can see this little green symbol appears to let you know that that's how we're viewing the data. And again, I can get this document in and I can select the exact amount of details that I want. I can choose either lines, service, or summary. Oh, excuse me. Smart Extract might be better in certain situations. For example, one thing that we're not able to do with our maps that Smart Extract is really good at is quite often we have examples like this whereby you are, one second, let me just restart this. We're getting the description, but it's actually spread out across two different lines. Now, one of the limitations with our mapping software is because it's looking for a specific pattern on these documents, it's only able to get you one line of description, whereas Smart Extract, because it's using that AI, is able to actually get you both lines. So for this example, I would probably look at this and say, I want to use Smart Extract for the supplier rather than maps. See, we can see here the full description is being picked up. One of the things that was a limitation for Smart Extract previously was that we didn't have any automation for it. So if you wanted to use Smart Extract, whenever a document came into your system, you would have to click the Smart Extract button every single time. That's not a thing of the past. Smart Extract is just as automated as mapping. So if for some reason you think that that was holding you back, that's no longer the case now. So what we would recommend is when you get a document from a new supplier, we would recommend you follow a particular series of actions. The first thing that we would recommend is just check Smart Extract. Even if you're not overly confident with it at the moment, click the button and have a look at the data that we're giving back to you. You can have a quick look at it here. Just clicking that for the first time doesn't save anything to your settings. It just lets you view the data. So I can check here and I can see, everything looks correct to me. Maybe I want line information. Maybe I want service summary. I just make sure that I am checking to see which one I want. And if I'm happy with the information that's being selected there, I'm going to pick my supplier from the drop-down menu and send it straight through to the approvals tab. That'll save for next time. And I'll show you how that saves underneath the supplier settings in just a moment. Now, if, for example, I wasn't happy with the level of data that was being extracted here, maybe it was missing out the PO number or another piece of key information, and I think that a map is able to do that for me. But that's fine. Even though I've tried Smart Extract, I can still go back and request a map. Simply click the map button here, and I can either search for a map here existing, or I can request a map. Now, our staff are trained to try Smart Extract as well. So if you have seen that something on Smart Extract isn't working for you, and it's something that maybe isn't that obvious for us, it would be really helpful if you could leave a note and just explain to us that, I've tried Smart Extract, it's not picking up this specific piece of information for me. Can you please try that with a map? Hopefully we'll be able to get that information for you with a map. And if not, we'll send you a note back explaining that we're not actually able to get that. And, maybe with Smart Extract and a little bit of manual work, you'll get the best option there. So I want to talk now about how you best manage your extraction rule settings, because again, ideally what we're going to be doing is using both Smart Extract and maps in tandem. So if you have any suppliers that are already using maps and have been working for you, potentially they've been working for you for a couple of years, you don't need to worry about Smart Extract. It's not going to interfere with those. It's only going to be for new suppliers that you have going forward. So let's say I want to start using Smart Extract now. I would go to my settings, I go to company settings, and we have some Smart Extract settings here that we can switch on. You can set it auto Smart Extract to yes, and it means that any documents that you upload that don't already have a map for them. So again, if your documents are already working fine and they're going straight through the approvals, this won't affect them. But any documents from new suppliers, if you have this set to yes, we'll try Smart Extract and we'll leave it there in the processing tab for you to take a look at first. You can also set the default extraction type as well. So if you know that your business primarily wants to deal with product lines, service, or summary, you can set that here as well. By default, that is set to service, but if for your business, you know that you need product lines, you can set it to product lines or summary. You can change it to summary here as well, and then just click update settings. Now that is just your overall company settings. We do have it's a little bit smarter than that. So if you have a general setting that you want to use for your whole company, but you know that there are particular suppliers that maybe don't follow that trend, you can also set those settings at the supplier level. So if I just go in here to my supplier list, and I'll take a look at this supplier that I have already set up, and I'll go to my extraction rules page. So some of you will probably be familiar with this tab. This is the maps tab. So anytime you use a map, we save it against this supplier, and then that will mean that that map will automate going forward. We now also have a Smart Extract tab. Now, if you are already using a map, the map will always take precedent over Smart Extract. So don't worry about changing anything. If you need to use Smart Extract for a one-off bill, we'll still always default to that map if possible. So if I know that this supplier, for example, is a bit of an outlier, maybe I need line items for most of my other suppliers, but for this specific one, I know I'm okay with summary. I would just make sure that this is set to summary, and then going forward, that should automate there. We also have the ability to add custom fields in Smart Extract. There's a bit of a limitation here in that it's looking for what we refer to as a normalized field. Without going into too much detail, essentially, we're going to look at your documents, and if there is a particular piece of information that we can identify, you can sometimes specify that you want to use that instead. So for example, let's say I know that the bank account name or bank account number on my document maybe isn't called the account number, maybe it's called ACC, and we haven't picked that up. You can specify that you want to use this value as this. You could also potentially, we might be picking up your account number with your supplier instead of the bank account number, and that would be a time when you'd want to use that. If you're using bank details, it won't be immediately apparent that we're extracting those. So in the processing tab here, we won't maybe necessarily show you that we are actually going to be able to extract the banking information for you. So if you check Smart Extract and you say that we're not extracting it, what you should do is select the supplier or create a new one if you have to. And then once you have done that, once you're adding this Smart Extracted document to that supplier, we're going to pop up this little custom field modal, and you're going to be able to tell it that. So we'll essentially suggest to you the fields that we believe are alternate pieces of information, like the banking information here, and you'll be able to tell it whether or not, yes, you want to accept that as the banking number, and then you can mark it as not in use if you'd not like us to extract it as well. And I'll hit confirm, and then we'll see here it's now getting the banking information. So now that I'm happy with that, I'll then send it through the approvals, and that'll save that information underneath that supplier for next time. That's mostly it for the extraction rules. If anyone has any specific questions on that, we'll be happy to answer them. We'll also obviously as well be available on chat if you do have any follow-up questions, or if you have any specific examples with documents that you maybe have in your own account. I'm going to show you a quick video next about our latest feature that's coming up. So just bear with me 1 second here, and I'm going to share the video. It's quite a quick video, so I'm going to probably stop it and start it while I talk about little sections, and then I'll play it all through again just from the beginning, so you can get a better idea of how it all kind of flows. But we're very excited to reveal this. This is our new, we're calling it edit mode at the moment. It might not be called that whenever we actually release the feature, but that's what we're working with at the moment. Essentially, what you're going to be able to do is you will be able to work with and manually edit the information that we're actually getting for you with Smart Extract. So at the moment, Smart Extract is quite rigid. We are looking at a document and we're saying, okay, that's the product code, that's the product name, and we're just giving you that information. Sometimes that might not be correct for your business. Maybe there is a specific piece of information you want extracted a bit differently. And we're hoping that edit mode here is going to give you just a little more power to be able to do that yourself. So just bear with me a moment. I'm going to share my screen again. So this is just the processing tab. It's a little bit messy because it's in one of our test accounts. But I'm going to play this for a couple of seconds until we actually get to the edit mode screen, and then I'll break it down for you a little bit. So just underneath the more button here, and then we click edit mode, and this will bring us to our new feature. So you can see here, there are a couple of options up along the top. First of all, we have this label value, and then we have words and tables. So the first two sections here primarily deal with the header information that we're selecting from the bill. So anything like the invoice number, invoice date, due date. So by default, we're going to pick up, for example, bill number is going to be the bill number that's on the document, and the bill date as well. So if you potentially, maybe you want the PO number as the bill number for some reason, you would then be able to edit that and select it. So let me just go to the next section to show you this one. So this is the specifically the label value section. So you'll be able to go in and select your preferred data sets. Most commonly, for an example, in aged care, we get requests where we maybe need to map the patient's name as the PO number or the miscellaneous reference. And previously, you would have had to ask us to create a map for us to do that for you specifically, but now you're going to be able to just select it here yourself. So in the word section here, it's a little bit similar. You're just going to be able to select the field and then put a box around the specific values over here on the right-hand side of the screen that you want. And I'll just show you that. So we click the BSB number here, and then if we want to select the exact piece of information here, we just go over and circle it on the right-hand side. Next up here is the tables section. So this is where we can potentially tell the system to give us different values for the line items that we're getting. As an example, maybe we are giving you the product description, but you might want the product code as the description, and you'll be able to just select that here and do that for yourself. Maybe in this example as well, potentially we're not also able to identify correctly which one of these is the VAT indicator column, and you can just select that there yourself. And that's it. I'll just go one more run through that just so you can see it all running smoothly. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, we'll be doing another share out on this closer to the time. Then you just preview your data to make sure you're happy with everything that you've selected. And then you hit save the supplier whenever you're happy with that. So that will save anything that you have for a specific document. It'll save that against that particular supplier as well. So if you have different requirements for different suppliers, you'll be able to save that per supplier. And I'm going to just finish up with another poll here. We've got 2 polls. So first of all, we'll go with this one. Do you prefer Smart Extract Plus or the traditional mapping method? Amazing. Wow, really tipped in favor of Smart Extract, which we're really hoping to see. It saves my team making maps, so really glad that that is the most popular one. Mapping does still definitely have its uses, and you will need to use it. I suspect everyone will need to use it in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, the Smart Extract has just been an absolute revelation for us. Thank you, everyone, for voting there. And then actually just our last poll on our custom fields. So I briefly showed you there our custom field section in Smart Extract, where you can potentially tell the system, that you want to use a specific piece of information there. So if you want to just tell us whether or not you've actually used that. And if you haven't used it, don't be afraid to pop up on chat and ask us a little bit more about it, or have a look on our knowledge base as well. You can see that most people actually haven't use that, so maybe we need to do a little bit more advertising around that. And again, that's going to get a lot better with edit mode as well. So if you haven't used it just yet, don't worry. Edit mode is going to make it a lot better. Thank you, everyone, for voting. And then do we have one last slide? Okay. Guys, thanks very much for listening to me. I can see that there are some questions here, so I'm going to just take a read through these now. Just bear with me one moment while I take a quick read. First one, I'm actually going to leave to Brian. Sorry to put you on the spot, Brian. We've been asked, are we going to be able to accept Word and Excel docs in the future? So is that something that we're potentially going to look at?
Yeah, it's definitely something that we're looking into a bit more now. Typically, because we weren't using the likes of AI for our data extraction, like Gav said, we only had the ability to map certain documents in the past. With the introduction to AI and the capabilities of it, it is something that we're looking into, being able to accept. There's nothing like around the corner. We're still doing some research, but just keep an eye out on our updates, on our newsletters that go out, and you'll be kind of updated as and when it may come.
Thank you very much. Next question. I think this one might be a little bit more specific to an account, but I'll try and answer it for you. So is there a fix for applying keyword rules to smart extracted invoices in the approvals tab? So it sounds like potentially that is a little setup issue. We would just need to have a look at your keyword rules to see what we can fix for you. Alternatively, if you're asking whether or not, if you have keyword rules set up and we have already smart extracted the data, whether or not, if you change those keyword rules, will it update on the document? If that's potentially what you're asking there, no, that won't happen. You would need to bring it. It'll only work on future documents that you have, unfortunately. It's just the way that the system works at the moment. It applies that rule when the document enters the approvals tab. So if something is already in there, it won't work on that. Hopefully that makes sense. And can you show again the button to click to go into edit mode, please? So just to be clear on that one, edit mode is not currently available in the product. So if you were trying to follow along there, it won't work for you at the moment. It is coming out soon. Brian, can we give an ETA on that?
Yeah, so somebody else actually asked that question, when they might be able to see the edit mode function. We are hoping that this should be very early in the new year. We are sending out some newsletters, around the end of the year and January, and there'll be specific comms around this, because it's such a big release for us. So without giving any sort of specific dates, we're very hopeful that it would be within the month of January. So yeah, just watch this space.
Excellent. Thank you, Brian. So look, just to recap, guys, I think some confusion from people has been around, do I use Smart Extract or do I use Maps? A lot of people seem to think it's one or the other. And really, you're going to get the best out of Lightyear if you're able to use both at the same time. You just need to remember that you might need to have a slightly different setup for different suppliers. And you shouldn't always expect us to be able to get the same volume of information with a particular extraction method, because your suppliers might have different formatting in their documents. There might be little peculiarities or reasons that we can't get it with one extraction method, but then we will be able to with the other, hopefully. So hopefully, both of those will cover most bases. There's a couple more questions coming through as well. Oh, sorry. Thank you. Someone actually asked a great one there, and I forgot to mention this. Are you planning to introduce Smart Extract statements? At the moment, we're limited on that. It's not compatible with our statement function. Our statement function is quite unique in the way that we're looking at those documents. And the tool that we're using for invoice extraction is specifically looking at invoice type documents. I'm not sure if it is something that we're going to be able to look at in the future, but unfortunately for now, it is just limited to invoices and credit notes. I didn't show you a credit note here, but if you were to try and Smart Extract a credit note, we ask you to just specifically identify the document as a credit note, and it saves that. It's similar to the custom fields that we looked at as well. Is there a setting where invoices are sent from approvals to a specific person/department to review and sign off with a signature? So I'm not sure what you mean about with a signature, but we do have an approval task feature, which I think should cover what you're asking there. And if you're not aware of our approval tasks feature already, I would ask that you reach out on support about that, and we can give you a little run through about how to set that up. And very briefly, you can send approval tasks based on like a keyword that you find on an invoice, or alternatively by the value of the invoice as well. And we do have some plans to develop on that in the future. But that's what you can currently do. You can also set it by supplier or department too. But again, if you have any questions on approving tasks and things like that, just reach out to us and support. Very good question here. What is the difference between Smart Extract Plus and normal Smart Extract? So we first released Smart Extract around 2 years ago. And whenever we first released Smart Extract, it was a lot more basic than what we have now. You had one option. You just press the Smart Extract button and it gave you summary information from that bill. That was the only thing that was available for you. And it also didn't save your preferences against any of the suppliers. So anytime that you had a document come in and you wanted to Smart Extract it, you clicked the button and you had to do that manually every single time. And it only provided you with summary information. Smart Extract Plus is kind of what we refer to as the whole package that we have now. So that will include the ability to set line information, and also set different rules by suppliers and anything that we have coming forward. So Smart Extract Plus is just kind of the Smart Extract 2.0, or the newer version of it. Can you stop a document automatically sending to approvals if there is more than one page? So we do currently have the ability to stop if we detect multiple different documents. So if you receive invoices from a supplier and you maybe have like 2 or 3 invoices in the one file, we should stop those going through to approvals for you. But we don't prevent more than one page unless we identify that as being another invoice. If you've got like a specific example of that one, again, reach out to us and support. Let us have a look at it for you. And just explain what the issue is and what exactly you're trying to achieve with that. And there might be something that we can do for you. So, don't be afraid to reach out, and we'll try and help you with that one. Will the new custom mapping settings become default for the supplier I have used it on, or will I need to copy the map coding as a rule for that supplier? So I'm not quite sure I understand that question, but just to kind of to answer on that topic, whenever you're setting custom settings for anything that I've showed here today, it is all related to that one specific supplier that you're doing it for. So it just means, again, if you do have differences across those suppliers, maybe there's a key piece of information you need from one but not on another, it means that you're tying it to that supplier, and you've got like a little bit more variety that you can set between them. Potentially, if it was for the company wide, you might have incompatibilities across your suppliers. If I copy summary information when sending to first approver, will this be visible to second line approver? Currently, I copy information to second line approver. I'm not sure what you're referring to there when you're saying that you're copying the information. And whenever you're sending a task to an approver, they should just be able to see the data that we're actually extracting from the document. So you shouldn't really need to be copying anything yourself. That approver will be able to see all of that information in their task screen. And if I've missed the point on that one, again, just reach out to us on support. And hopefully that's something that we can answer for you. But really, whenever you're sending tasks, there shouldn't be any extra work involved for you. Someone has asked a question there specific to Access Financials, one of the accountancy softwares that we have an API with. Again, if you could just reach out to us in support, please, that and our support team will be able to help you with that. Thanks. Can you make the rounding row easier for invoices with the penny out with VAT? I've seen quite a lot of people have liked that question, and that comes up quite a lot. We are currently working on a solution for that, a better solution. It will depend on the accountancy software, however, that you're using. I'm going to be a little bit coy and not answer that one as much as I should, just because I'm not sure exactly how far along we are with the development of that one. But we should have a solution, accountancy software dependent, on the roadmap for that one. Hopefully we'll be able to resolve that one for you in the future. We have one supplier that does work at 2 locations. Therefore, we need 2 different people to approve the invoice and a second approver on both. Is there a way to do this? And that's a really interesting question. We can potentially help you there with a little bit of work in your settings. I don't want to say 100% that we can resolve that for you, but if anyone has a similar question to that, that's a good one to reach out to us on chat with. Actually, specifically, that is something that maps typically help with. You might have a supplier that, again, so in this example, the supplier does work at 2 different locations, but you also might, let's say, for example, you're getting a delivery from Tesco, but you maybe get 2 different there's 2 different Tesco's that you work with, and for some reason you want to have them both as 2 different suppliers. We might not be able to handle that with Smart Extract, because it's always going to identify the general supplier as Tesco. But with a bespoke map, we might be able to do something for you on that one. So again, just reach out to us and support, gives the specific example that you have, and hopefully it's something that we can resolve for you. And we've had a question there on expenses. Again, if you could just reach out to us on support about that one, please. And what is the notes section for when sending to an approver? And that's a really good question. So the notes section actually is quite a versatile little section in Lightyear. Let me just share my screen, and I'll show you this one, because there's a couple of different uses for this. Hopefully you can see my screen here now. So what this person is referring to is this little note section here. And this can be used for a number of different things. Always note that whenever you're sending an approval task to someone, all of this extracted data is always visible to them. But this might not provide full context. Maybe this approver is the person that needs to set the account for this document, and you don't know what it is yourself. You could leave a note letting them know, please set correct GL code. You might also need to leave other pieces of information like maybe when it was purchased or when you need it approved by, anything at all. This can also be used to receive communications from and to our staff members as well. So when you're actually requesting a map, anything that you write in this optional notes section will appear in this activity log. And you'll also see notes sent back from Lightyear staff here as well. Now, just note that if you do write a note here, it won't alert Lightyear staff. So if you are going back and forth with us about a specific map request and you want to leave a note, make sure that you also send the request back into the queue there as well. So essentially, like the real answer for that is the note section can be used for anything you want. It's a permanent sort of audit trail on the document. So anything you need to leave there, you can. Sometimes invoices sent to Lightyear are automatically extracted and pushed straight into the approval workflow. Is there a way to view where these newly received invoices go? Asking because they often get mixed in with invoices I've already reviewed. So yes, this happened. So essentially, this is Lightyear working the way it's supposed to do. So you'll receive a document in your processing tab for the first time, and you'll have to apply a map. But once you've done that, or potentially, you've selected Smart Extract. But once you've done that, past the first time, it should just automatically go straight through to your approvals workflow. And to alert you to which one of those are new and which ones aren't, I'll just show you. So if I hit create supplier here, I'm going to just send this document through. So I'll send the approvals here. I'll actually just send another one in as well, just so we've got two examples. So any new documents that are sent in here, you'll see that they should be in bold, and just to alert you. It's like an email inbox. These are your unread documents. So anytime you send anything straight through there, as long as it hasn't been viewed, it should be there in bold for you. Does anyone else have to manually map a statement twice before it sticks? I haven't heard about that one before. If you could reach out to us when that happens, that would be great. If you're able to consistently make that happen, just reach out on support and work through it. If you've got an example of that where we can actually sort of see that happen, that would be an easier way for us to tell you what specifically is happening there. When we email supplier, when will their email address populate into the external email address? At the moment, I have to copy and paste, or am I missing something? Okay, great. So you are referring to when you're in the approvals workflow here and you hit more and you want to email the supplier. This is not populated. So yeah, really simply, this is in your supplier settings. So you can visit there either just by clicking this little green edit pen button, or you can go into your actual supplier settings here. I'll just go to the supplier I was on just there now. So if I want to add an email address here, I have the contact details here. So I have three options. I've got the orders emails, accounts emails, and remittance email as well. And so that will also help you if you're using the PO feature as well. You would add things in here too. So yeah, just make sure that that is updated on your supplier. And there's quite a few questions coming through here in the chat section, but quite a lot of these guys are questions that would be better for our support team. It sounds like specific issues that you might be having with your account. So, please just reach out to us on chat. If you're not aware for some reason, this little button down in the bottom left-hand corner is where you can reach out to our chat. So you should be able to get through to an agent straight away. Just click on that and then click messages. You'll get through to someone right away, and they'll be able to answer your question. There's more coming through now. So if there are suppliers on maps and there are issues with this map, would you recommend deleting the map and using Smart Extract? That's a great question. So yes, you can definitely try using Smart Extract for that. You would need to then go into your supplier table and remove the map from that table. And what I did want to point out though is that we have one little thing at the moment that we are going to change in the near future. Currently, if there is an existing map, we will suggest that to you over over automating Smart Extract. So even if you remove it from your supplier table at the moment, we're still going to suggest that map for you each time rather than Smart Extract. But what we can potentially do is fix that map for you and make sure that it does work. Or alternatively, if we find that the maps are just not as good as Smart Extract, then we can just delete the maps. That's also an option. We are going to be hopefully releasing a fix for that in the near future. I don't have an exact timeline on that just yet, but we are going to be able to put we're going to be adding a little section to your Smart Extract rules where you'll be able to say override existing maps with Smart Extract, but that's just coming soon. Okay, I think we will wrap it up there. If there's any questions that you are still wanting to answer, please just reach out to us on support. As I said as well, as Ashley said, sorry, at the beginning, we're also going to be doing more sessions throughout the next week. But if you do have any questions, please don't reach out or don't hesitate to reach out to us and support. We're here for you every day. Thanks very much, guys. Thank you for joining. It was an absolute pleasure. And I'll speak to you all soon.
Thanks, everyone. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.